नमस्कार। आज सभी लोग अपने अपने घरों पर कोविड-19 से सुरक्षित होकर के अपने पावन नित्य कर्तव्यों का पालन कर रहे होंगे। सो स्टूडेंट्स, एज वी हैव टॉक अबाउट द प्लांट फिजियोलॉजी, देन वी हैव टू टॉक अबाउट द नेक्स्ट लेसन, that is the anatomy of the flowering plants. Especially, first of all, we have to know what is this anatomy. Means we can say the study of the internal structure of the plant, that is called plant anatomy. Means we have to study the internal structures which can be the due to which this plant can be get adaptations to diverse the environmental conditions. Especially in this chapter, we will studies about the tissue and tissue system, meristematic tissue, permanent tissue, and the tissue systems also. And if we talk about the anatomical or anatomy of the dicotyledonous and the monocotyledonous plants, dicotyledonous roots, monocotyledonous roots, dicotyledon stem, dicotyledonous stem, and dicotyledonous especially about the leaf also, and monocotyledonous leaf also, and secondary growth. Especially we have to just cover all these topics in this lesson now. So as we are just talking about the structures and the internal structure of the plants, in which especially we can say that up to the tissue level organization in the plants, we can say that tissue, it is the group of cells having the common original, right, and also for the common performing of the functions, right, that is called the tissue. And we can say the plant body is generally made up of the different kinds of tissues which can be generally find in the same origin and embryonic stages. As we can say that tissue help the body functions by allowing the division of the labors, means they can always help to for the different functions. There different kinds of tissues are found in the plants, and we, for example, we can say generally the leaf are various cells commonly performing the functions of the photosynthesis. So on the basis of this can be classified in different categories, right? So if we can talk about the classifications or grouping of the tissues, they are especially in such categories. Means they are classified into two categories, that is called the meristematic tissue and the permanent tissue, right? If we can talk about the meristematic tissue, they are generally classified into three categories, right? They are maybe primary meristematic or secondary meristematic, right? So on the basis of they can be easily classified in different parts, or we can say the different meristematic tissues on the basis of positions, they may be classified as the apical meristematic tissue, right, intracalary meristematic tissue, and the lateral meristematic tissue. And if we talk about on the basis of function, they may be classified as protoderm, prochymbium, and ground meristematic tissue. And on the base of the origin, they can be classified into two categories, that is the primary meristem and the secondary meristems. So in the same way, this permanent tissue can again classified in different categories. It may be that we can say they are the simple permanent or the complex permanent. In simple permanent tissues, the parenchyma, collenchyma, scalencyma. Complex permanent tissues, they may be xylem and the phloem, which can be found throughout their life in the plant, right? So then we have to talk about the next, that is the different tissues have, means then we have to talk about the classifications of the meristem on the basis of the position, right, in the plant. This apical meristematic tissue can be classified in such a categories, right? We can say the first, that is apical meristematic tissue, and the apical meristematic tissue which can occur at the tip of root and at the tip of shoot, which can capable to produce primary tissue, that is called the apical meristematic tissue. And it can be also classified as ram and SAM. Ram means we can say root apical meristematic tissue which can be always occupies at the tip of root. On the other hand, the shoot apical meristem can be always occupies the most distinct region of the stem at the axis, that is known as shoot apical meristem, right? And we can say these tissues can be generally found in such a places. Evenly we can say during the formation of leaves and elongation of the stem, some of the cells left behind from the shoot apex and meristem constitute the axillary buds. Means the axillary bud can be developed from those cells which can be leave behind the formation of the leaf and elongation of the stem. Those left cells can be just converted and constituted the axillary buds, right? And these buds can be, we can say, present in the axil of the leaves and capable for the formation of branch or the flower. Means they can be found over there and they can capable to change into the branches as well as the flowers. And we can say some specific regions of the apical meristemates produces the dermal tissues. Means they can capable to provide some other tissues like the dermal tissues, round tissues and the vascular tissues. Means if you can see that these are different stages where they can be developed with the help of different ways, right? We can say that they can be just classified in different categories one, right? So these are found in different regions. So after that we have to talk about first intercalary meristem, right? Means generally intercalary meristem we can say the this tissue is generally occurs or found between the mature tissue, right? We can say it can be always occur between the mature and the permanent tissue, right? So that's why it is known as intercalary meristem. And we can say they can be occur in grass regenerated parts removed by the grazing herbivores. Means generally this can capable for the increasing of the length as well as for the those grazing parts which can be grazed by the animals for the grasses where they can be capable to grow one. And we can say that they can also helpful that both apical and intercalary meristem are primary meristems because they can be appear early in the life of the plants and contribute to the formation of the primary plants body. Means they are generally primary meristem. Why they primary meristem? Because they can be capable to development. First of all they can be appears in that particular conditions, right? And we can say the meristems are usually responsible for the growth in the length and present mostly at the base of the nodes. They can be generally responsible for the growth one and they can be able to present at the base of the stems, right? Or these are the nodes, as we have everybody known that this is the node and they can be found over in such a places. So we can say these are responsible for the growth and development also, right? As we can take the example of the mint, right, in the nodes. And if we can talk about the internode structure, in that particular wheat and the grasses, they can show such structures in those plants one. And we can also say at the base of the leaf they can also found over there as in the pinus. Let's move on the other, that is the lateral meristem, right? If we can talk about lateral meristem, that we say this tissue occur in the mature region of the roots and shoots of the many plants. Means it can be always found in mature regions in the different parts of the plant, even in the root or even in the shoot. We can say that meristem these lateral meristem can be capable to produce the woody axis, and we can say they can be appears later and the primary meristem to also called the secondary meristem. They can be shown in such structures that they can be becomes as examples of the what that is called the secondary meristem. As well as we can say they are the cylindrical meristem. Some examples of this tissue, and we can say the fascicular vascular ganglions, intravascular cambiums and core cambiums, or they can be always helpful for the responsible for the production of the secondary and other parts of the plants, as we can just seen into the such plants. Means they can be always found in such structures as you can see in these formations, right? So they are most important part of the plants in such a ways over there. Then we have to talk about that another type of the meristem tissue on the basis of their origin, right? If we can talk about on the basis of their origin, on the basis of their origin, we can say they may be classified into categories like the protoderm and the procambium and the ground meristems, right? So on the basis of this protoderm, we can say promeristems, right? Basically we can say these are the outermost portions of the primary meristem found at the apex of the stem and the root. It develop into the epidermis. Means generally they can always capable for the manufacturing, for the development of the epidermis of any plant. Means they can be always found over there. And we can also say that like this you can just see over there. And the procambium, it is the develop into the primary vascular tissues. Means before the xylem and phloem can be completely developed, before that they can be developed a procambium, and where they can be always helpful for the vascular tissues. We can say it forms the isolated strands of the elongated cells very near to the central region, or we can say on the basis of another function, the ground meristem. Especially if we can talk about the ground meristem, what will happen that it develop into the ground tissues, and the cells of are thin walled, living, and the isodiametric. In the later stages of growth, we can say they are very differentiated into the hypodermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, medullary rays, and pith. If you can just see the internal structure of any stem and the root in coming diagrams, where you will understand about this, where means the total structure of that can be developed without a ground meristems, with the help of which they be differentiated into different categories, that is hypodermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, medullary ray, and so on the fifth one. So these are different regions where they can be originated. If we can talk about on the basis of the origin, they can be again classified like this, the primary meristem, right? If we can talk about the primary meristem, generally these meristems are derived during the early stage of the embryonic stage. We can say they can divide continuously and differentiated into the primary permanent tissue, which can make the fundamental structures of the plant body. They are mainly found into the growing apical regions, that is called root and the shoot. Means these primary structures can be especially found in such a places, right? Especially in the root and to the shoot system. And if we can talk another one, that we can say secondary meristem. In the secondary meristem, we can say that these meristems appear in the later stage of development in the plant body. Means the primary stages can be developed during the embryological stages, but this secondary meristem can develop when the plant body is developed. Means they can be lie in lateral positions in both stem and root. Means generally at the apical portions the primary meristem are found, but after that growth of the plant at the lateral positions, these secondary meristems can be are presented over there in the root as well as into the shoot also. So we can say the primary permanent tissue acquire the power of division, becomes meristematic. Means if the permanent tissues are capable to break down, capable to divide it for the formation of their structures, they can be becomes like a meristematic tissue, right? Evenly we can say that this secondary meristematic, right, this secondary meristematic tissues can get differentiated into form of secondary meristem as on the basis of their needs. Means as much of different parts of the plant can needed in that particular conditions, these can be converted into such places due to which they can capable to do their functions, as they can always help for the secondary meristems as the cork cambium, intervascular cambium, means they can be allow for the growth of the secondary growth into the tissues, means without this growth the plant cannot be capable to grow properly, due to which they can be changes into different ways, means on the basis of this the plant can be divided in such. If you can just getting the such structures, we can do apical meristematic to root cap upon over there, and there are dermal, ground and vascular, as I have told you so many times that these tissues can be found in different categories in different regions, right? So we can say in that particular conditions that what about this dermal means generally related to the dermatology, means related to the outer part or related to the skin of the plants, even if the plant have the epidermis, I mean even if the plant have the root hairs, right? So we can say due to which they can capable to form the periderm, or we can say root hair slug of the, right? In that particular condition, especially in the secondary growth conditions, they can be found over there. In that this dermal or epidermal can be changed in the phloem and the phloem. On the other hand, we can say ground tissue that can always helpful for the formation of the cortex. And later on we can talk about the vascular tissue, which can be always developed with the help of xylem and phloem. Later on during the secondary growth in the plants, they can be again changed with the help of the procambium, that is xylem and the phloem, means they can be always very helpful for the development of these plants and these structures for the different purposes into the plants, due to which they can capable to provide the different things. So students, you all must prepare the notes like this on the basis under such headings which I have given you, right? So as we can discuss about the different types of mesomeric tissue, in which we discuss about their classification on the basis of their functions, on the basis of their origin, on the basis of their structures, right? So in next we will discuss about the different other permanent tissues which can be found into the different parts, means we have to talk about the simple permanent and complex permanent tissues in different parts of the plants tomorrow. So be prepared and be ready to read all the functions of these conditions. So we will discuss. Students, you all must prepare notes with the diagrams also, which are given in your books, and then we have to talk about the simple permanent tissue.